According to statistics from the U.S. Census Bureau, several minority groups in America out-earn white people. They earn more money than white people. These are the groups. Ready? Pakistani Americans, Lebanese Americans, South African Americans, Filipino Americans, Sri Lankan Americans, and Iranian Americans. And the number one group in the United States for earnings, Indians. They earn more money than anyone else. None of those groups, except for South Africa, are white-based. None of them. Second, black immigrant groups have a median household income above the American average. Who are black immigrant groups? Nigerians, Barbadians, Ghanaians, Trinidadians. All have higher incomes than the average American. And because whites are more than blacks and Hispanics, that's the factor. Third, Nigerian Americans are one of the most educated groups in America, according to a study by Rice University. They only make up 1% of African Americans, Nigerians, 1%. Yet they are represented at the Harvard Business School at a rate of 25% of black students. So no wonder they are out earning whites, Nigerian Americans. I didn't know any of this, and I know you didn't know any of it. And thanks to Ray Aurora, we now know it. And finally, 16 million white Americans, almost twice as many as black Americans, live in poverty. Now, that's a little skewed because black Americans are 13% of the population, and whites are 50-something, close to 60%. It's a little skewed, but it goes against, if you're white, you have privilege. Okay? That's what it goes against. So, the white privilege argument, this is why I'm even bothering with it. Kids hear this, black kids, and it builds in to their thinking process. They're immature, okay? But so are most adults, that they're victims. Because whites have privilege, they, the black kids, don't have privilege, and they can't succeed. They're victims of a biased system. And that creates grievance. Oh, I flunked because I'm black. Oh, you didn't hire me because I'm black. Oh, you were rude to me because I'm black. And you have white privilege. Nobody has done this to me because they're afraid of me. But if anybody ever said to me, hey, O'Reilly, check your privilege, the mature O'Reilly would say, hey, why don't you take your stupid theory and whatever. I probably wouldn't use a euphemism, but I would state my objection. I grew up in Levittown, New York, as many of you know. You couldn't get more humble beginnings than that. I guess you could, but it would be hard. Okay, I didn't have any money, and nobody in the neighborhood had any money. That's why they were living in Levittown. My father bought the house for $8,000 in 1951. So this white privilege nonsense is corrosive to the country because it creates another generation of victims. The blacks grow up, not all of them, certainly not Nigerians, and they say, I can't make it. Why should I even try? Now, part of the dissemination of black propaganda, or propaganda directed toward blacks, is the Black Lives Matter Global Foundation. So in Milwaukee, the head of the crew there, Patrick Benjamin, recently wrote an article, June 21st, it said, Dear white people, if you have ever said any of these things, then you are part of the problem. And he lists the most absurd stuff, like everyone struggles, being white has never been one of those struggles, being poor is a struggle. It's just garbage. The article is just garbage. But the basic premise is that white people are oppressive And that's what the Black Lives Matter Global Foundation sells. Skin color. Caucasian oppressive. One final note. Skin color should not be in any debate. And it is in the Washington Redskins, and we'll get to that in a little while. Should not be in any debate. Skin color does not matter. Martin Luther King Jr. said it best. It's the content of your character. Okay? This right here, it doesn't matter. And if you inject skin color in any way, shape, or form into the debate, you're going to be marked, number one, ostracized, and you'll lose the debate. You've got to really cut through this and get into education, get into the system in America that requires competition and how to compete.